Hey, what's up? My name is Matt Dietz, and this is the Agency Launch Podcast. I am an active 17-year insurance agency owner, and I run a different shop than many of my peers. I've got 4,300 policies, and I have 2 staff members, and I have already made all the mistakes for you. So this podcast is to share with you all that I know. I come in and I record things as I think about them. I come in and I record things as they happen in my agency, and anything that I can think of that will help you, I come in and I share it. So I talk about sales and marketing and staffing and retention and everything that I know works in an agency like this. So I appreciate you listening, and let's get on with it. Hey, what's up? All right, today I wanted to talk to you about something called assumptive closes, or maybe assumptive language. In sales, language is really important, how you use it, right? There are tons of little psychological tricks that you can use to get people to lean your way and to buy from you, right? So that's your job, is to learn all these little tricks. All right, in my course at Agency Launch, I have a whole module on, I think there are 12 phrases that I use to help turn a no into a maybe and a maybe into a yes. So I reached out to my texting community, which you should do. You should stop right now and text me at 208-213-8809 and jump in, because I do stuff like this. This morning on my way in, I had an appointment cancel. I said, all right, I'm going to hit up my community. And I said, hey, you guys hit me up some questions and I'll send you some video answers. And so I spent an hour, responding to questions and sending answers, personal answers to agents. And one of the questions I got was we send out a lot of texts to prospects, but I don't get very many responses. What are your tips on getting better responses for texting prospects? That was a good question, and I came across something over the past year or so that agents are using when it comes to this, and it's pretty simple. I really like it too. If you're texting prospects, and let's say you're working internet leads, and you have all the information, you have enough information to get a quote. That's the one positive thing about working an internet lead, right? Is you get enough information to work up a quote if the person, put in the right name and the right email and the right everything. So you can work up a quote. So the text you can send is pretty simple, right? And it's, hey, thanks for submitting your information, or you can say, dear Mr. So-and-so, or dear first name, however you want to automate it. And you end up saying, how would you like your quote? In a text or an email. So when you're assuming that this, so let's be clear on what happens when somebody puts all their information into somewhere on the internet and to get a quote. They come across something that says, get a quote for your auto insurance. And somebody, they take the time to put in their name and their driver's license number and the car and the year, the make, the model, their address, and all this stuff. They put it all in there willingly. But they expect when you hit enter that they're going to get offers, but instead they get 10 of you calling him or her, right? And so they're not expecting to get blown up by 10 people on the phone. They just wanted a quote on their computer in the comfort of their own home, okay? So instead they're getting calls. So how do you reach out to that person who's kind of being ambushed? And so, hey, if you just gently say, hey, Bill, how do you want your quote? In a text or an email? That's going to get you a better response than when would be a good time to chat, Then you can email them the quote. Your goal with these leads is just to get them on the phone, just get in a real conversation with them, right? And it's a challenge. So if you can go ahead and do that, say, hey, how do you want this? In an email or a text, I think your response rate will increase. Now, it might not increase immediately, but over the course of, say, 50 or 100 texts, I'll bet if you send 100 texts the way you're doing it now versus 100 texts using this, you're going to get a better response rate. Okay, this isn't assumptive close. This is you assuming that they want this information, and they did at some point in time. The best thing to do after that is if they don't respond, you're going to respond again the next day with a similar thing. Hey, it's me again. Just want to make sure you got my text. How would you like this information? Email or text. Okay, so that's a good way to do it. So that's an assumptive close, and I think it's a smart way to go. Another way that we use assumptive close in a little psychological battle is if you get someone on the phone and you're walking through a quote with them on the phone, you can ask sometime during the call when you're getting ready for the quote or to drop the number on them. You say, hey, how are you going to be paying for this today? A simple line like that will kind of disrupt what they're doing. That they automatically, it can kind of subconsciously put them into a buying situation. How are we going to be paying for that today? Are you going to go monthly, or are you going to just want to pay that in full? And that's just something to kind of prime the pump, to kind of get them ready to, maybe they'll start reaching for their card at that point, and if your price is good, they'll buy right there. The one thing you want to avoid if you got someone on the call is for them to be like, well, you know what, let me think about it, or I got to talk to my wife, or blah, blah, blah. So you want to, and I learned this from some training I got years ago, and this was like through Geico. Call Geico or Progressive and get a quote and listen to their script, okay? They are pulling you along the whole time, getting you there for a sale. Like, they built their whole business, well, on internet now, but over the pre-internet, it was all over the phone. So their scripts are completely dialed in, all right? So if you call one of those companies up, like, they are absolutely reading from a script, and they're going to try and earn their business. And you can take notes from them, all right? See how they follow up with you. Those are big companies that are doing a good job. Steal from them, Take what they're doing. It's working, right? So anyway, assumptive closing. Assume that if you're in front of someone that they're going to want to buy from you. I think that's good for you to assume that in the first place. It kind of can help you with confidence, and at the same time, if you can throw some assumptive language their way, it kind of gets them ready to buy too. So just some thoughts on using assumptive language to get more business. So there you go. My name's Matt. This is Agency Launch. You can find me all over the place. You can find me at agencylaunch.net. That's where my masterclass is. Don't forget, if you buy anything from there, since you're awesome and listening to the podcast, I'm giving you 10% off of anything in there. Just use the code PODCAST. And check out my other insurance podcast called Simply Explaining Insurance. It's all about the product that you sell. And that's what I got for you today. Thank you so much for listening. Keep up the good work.